Can you guys hear me? All right, good. So I had asked a question there. I do that real quick. I want to curious who in the room may or may not know this. Gartner has been very specific about the number of connected devices expected in 2045. Anybody know the answer off the top of their head? At least one rate's full, maybe, to reach out and guess how many connected devices in 2045? What of us got to guess? Really? I heard, but I said 7 billion. Is 75 billion connected devices. So you are all about bang it to 10. How much was it in 2020? 2020 was 30 billion connected devices. So we went from 30 in 2020 to 75 extra force, or believes it will be 80 billion for Econ 5. And then 5 years prior, 2015, it was only 15 billion. So 15 to 30 to 70. You're seeing the OPI bucks play now, right? My name is Aubrey. I'm the CTO for Honeywell Breakthrough Solutions. And I'm here today really to talk about one thing. I was asked by Jeff to come share some of the secret sauce that we're putting in with AI. So I did it earlier. They didn't want to bring up AI. They're following the talk about what we really do with AI. Not about the speaker. I am a geek. I am a true technologist. I've been with Honeywell for 14 years, 32-year career in large enterprise level solutions. And for the past 7 years, I've been chief engineer for our parent company, now named Industrial Automation. If you've been around for a while, you know Honeywell Scaling Mobility. 14 years ago, I came to Honeywell. I actually started in the scaling mobility business before I moved into corporate roles. So for the last 7 years as chief engineer, I've been driving a lot of innovation, a lot of that with AI. And 6 months ago, I came back here to PSS business to run the technology team and to breed some of this Honeywell technology into our portfolio that we're be talking about. He said, push the button hard. All right. So I'm going to be discussing what is next with AI. And frankly, in a lot of these back-to-back presentations as you hear all day, if you don't remember anything about what I'm telling you what's next with AI, I want to give you one simple framework that I've learned over the past 3 or 4 years that has really helped me when I think about workforce automation, warehouse automation, retail automation. How do you think about the impact of AI in that? I want to really distill it down to one primary principle that actually plays itself out and is driving what type of solutions we're actually putting into our portfolio. So one more question on this. This might be the last question. I want to see if this one person brought an answer. Or just raise your hand. How many of you are familiar with AGT? Anybody know what AGT is? I saw a hand go up back there. What's AGT?
Oh, no. America's not.
No, I'm not. Stop. Yes. AGT actually stands for the principle that you're. The principle is ask a question, get an answer, take an action. I'm going to explain why that matters so much with automation and with AI, or how you can sort of peer through the sort of myths and all of this pile on that everyone's going to be having that all AI is a raised instance sliced bread and there's a lot of tech out there. How it's going to change the world. It really comes down to AGT. How well. And a small way to convince you just to think through that as you read today is the takeaway from this session. So I have a slide. This is the only slide I have. So I'm not going to be going through slide, or I'm going to talk through what we're doing with our multimodal agents, and what that means and how it applies to AGT report. But the real reason I only have them in slide is when I was asked to come here today. We have been working very hard at PSS with Honeywell as well as in some of our sister companies in Honeywell to deliver on this promise of AI. And a lot of what we're doing is very secret. A lot of what we're doing is very we're not being very public about it. And you will find, I believe this is going to come out on Monday next week. It starts to come out next week. You're going to start seeing some press releases with some very large partnerships that we forged over the past 6 months. To deliver AI, and we are also going to be doing Pride in Demos in Q4. We'll be showing off the multimodal agent that I'm going to be talking about here in a minute at NRF as well. So because we haven't enacted this yet, I'm not going to be going through visuals that pictures can be taken out of. You certainly can take it to the slide. But I'm really going to talk about what we're doing so that you have a little bit of a preview coming up next. And even, I believe, Bill, our chairman of the board, there was a Fortune magazine article that came out yesterday where most of what he spoke about regarding AI and Honeywell is coming out of the PSS portfolio. So a lot of the things that we have to talk about are coming out. Before I talk about multimodal agents, there is a lot that we've been doing with AI, and there's a lot that we continue to do with AI for our portfolio. So I'm going to cover that super fast. If you're familiar with our portfolio being scanners and printers and mobile devices of what kind of workflow solutions, on the scanning side, we've already developed image recognition, image capture. We can take a dark picture of a barcode, whether it's a dot code or regular barcode or QR code, with very low light situation, and we use AI on the scanner now to improve those images and take our codes in low light speculative warehouse situations where you would be able to we also have, anyone in here familiar with Swift Decoder SDK? Honeywell back there knows what it is. So our Swift Decoder SDK, which runs on all mobile devices, Android or iPhone, as well, of course, in our portfolio. We bottled up all of our machine vision and our AI around decoding, OCR, character recognition, range finding. You can use Swift Decoder to actually look at the number of barcodes and you're looking for one barcode. So let's say you're in a retail center and you want to find the Heinz ketchup that's got the barbecue sauce in it. You can actually look for that barcode, and it'll flash a green box over the globally that is the exact box you're looking for. That's just some examples of the AI we're going in decoding or scanning. We're also doing a lot of AI in our cloud-based solutions. So not only with guided workflow to familiar with that solution, we have a file solution on the Honeywell Course platform called Workforce Intelligence. We've been adding a lot of AI into that for analytics and insights. To talk about the data, first mentality. There's a lot of data around labor and how to improve later over time. So we're aggregating that information. And then in our asset management portal, operational intelligence with other partners like SODI and others, we're aggregating that information to operational intelligence to create insights around drop devices, battery life, locationing, bad number of spots within facilities. So AI is already living and breathing powerful code. But let me get back to this thing about HUT and multimodal agents. I mentioned HUT was ask a question, get an answer, or take an action. And I just left my phone up here, so we gotta get my phone. I got out of 5. It all need to today. So how many of you guys in the room have actually already used ChatGPT, Copilot, or Packet? You are awake. You got a hand raised on that. So I want to take you through an example that I like to use about ADT as it relates to AI, specifically generative AI, because the next wave is generative, but what's it going to do and what's going to do in this industry? I think we have an answer, and it does all revolve around ATE. And it revolves around something called Honeywell, which is what it's to show. So it is about 10 years ago. I'll use an example. I'm a motorcycle guy, so I like to work my motorcycles. And 10 years ago, if I wanted to change the oil on my motorcycle, I would go to Google and I would type in, how do I change the oil or how to re-up 1200 21st? And I would get a lot of links that come up for the website, right? And so then I would sit there, look through these links and click a couple and find out that's not my model, that's the DCT version, that's not the manual transmission. And so I find a one up on I'd get it to that article, then I'd have to read through the article to find steps and things like what's the time to look at? Is it 10 millimeter socket? What's the size wrench? So I could ask the question, look Google, I could get an answer, and I would eventually take an action, I would eventually do the measurements on that money. But it took me a certain amount of time to do that. Now, for Google, I had to go to AutoZone, where would you get a Chilton's manual to read it before I have to take an action. So Google helps reduce AGT down. And if you think about workforce automation, it's all about AGT because what you're doing is everything in those jobs, no matter if you're a retail setting or a warehouse setting, doing inventory, doing cycle kinds, pick a callus, setting us the shipping at distribution. The workers had a question about what is that I need to do, or how do I do what I need to do if I'm doing quality, getting an answer and then taking an action. All the there up with potentially. Then the industry introduced, about 3 years back, the role the J, that be the key, became all the buzz. So here's the full thing with ChatGPT. I can now sit there and type, I would check the old month be a bar 1200, and the answer I get is, here's how you check the old, give a 1200 manual friction, and it's step by step right there. I didn't have to click your links. I didn't have to watch a couple of YouTube videos to find the right video. It answered me directly, curated that, and put it into Shacks. So then I would sit here and scroll through the text, work on my bike, and I'd have all the use. So it took that dual equation from asking a question, getting an answer, and it turned that side down pretty significantly. And I'll still be take MASH, right? So how does this translate to multimodal, on-device, agent technology and what are we doing at Honeywell about this? We believe very strongly that a lot of innovators in the space are trying to fit what ChatGPT is amazing people with in this generation. You can now use their voice on ChatGPT. You could talk direct into it. We're trying to make that fit into the mold of the worker that either has an Android device, a mobile device, or maybe even, with Catalyst, one of our headless devices with some microphone or a headset. And it does fit perfectly, and I'm going to explain why. So I'll use a real example in the retail. We claim, if I could do this, that it simplifies complex tasks, and there's Nova here to talk about with multimodal agents being able to increase the cognition dramatically of a new employee, which is a huge problem in the high churn retail sites. So as a retail employee, if I'm being asked to close out the register, and I've literally never done it before, I've just started here a week ago. If I were to ask a agent online device, how do I close out the register? We can make that work. And if you'll notice, like you've got this concept of every associate knowledge base allows every associate to expert knowledge. Of course, you could ask a ChatGPT style agent, how do I close out the register? And then it's going to get me, I keep doing this to try to show you, but you can't see on my screen, this long list of steps to conduct to close out a register. So who, as an employee, is going to sit there, how do I close out a register? And just sit there and read for 5 minutes, and then remember it, and then try to start closing out the register, right? In fact, the product that was the answer, fitting ChatGPT into a worker environment. You'd literally have to try this, and you go back security. If you let me, I do have hyperboles, and you're kind of like looking at the text trying to understand what to do. So the difference with multi-mobiles, and the key takeaway is we want to take the ChatGPT version of ask the question, how do I close out a register, get the answer, and take the action. Think about a little back and forth, going back to the answer, trying to close out the register. We want to bring that down as close to zero as we get. And so the answer is multimodal agents. What we're doing with multimodal is, if you think about a picture on the left-hand side of the device being all of the input modalities, we are going to be demonstrating 4 star input modalities. The microphone, so you could speak to the equipment, naturally match your conversational language. Pictures, being able to pick pictures. Barcodes, but don't be a lot of barcodes. And then the orc is going to be actually texting to the agent itself doing it. But in this case scenario, I can now speak in any language to the agent. How do I close out redundancy? And instead of the agent getting me this long list of answers, the agent is another employee that is smarter to be about closing a register. And it immediately advises me, all right, in order to close out the register, the first step you're going to want to do is blah, blah, blah. Let me know when you finished that step or if you need help. Okay, I finished that. What do I do next? So I'm using voice-guided workflow, right? But the difference with voice-guided workflow today is it's very linear. It's very prescriptive. We're talking about unstructured workflows and unstructured conversational impact. So today's voice-guided workflow, you have to know words to say, and you say them in the right order. You pick this, you're out of bay, you got a check digit, you say the right word, it moves to the next step. What we're doing with our agent, on its the input modalities, there are 4 active modalities that we're going. The
The first, it's probably one of the most powerful because it's up in our portfolio already, is the voice guided workflows modality. So we have our voice guided workflows, which many of you use today, and you already have workflows that exist. What the agent is going to do is sit in the middle, and you, the new employee, do not need to know how to use a voice guided workflow. All you need to know how to do is talk to an agent with your natural language. So that as you ask, I work without pressure, the agent identifies, oh, there's a modality for that. One modality might be the guided workflow that already exists around closing out web search. The agent will talk JSON and data and API to our depth in GWS to the voice guided workflow, start the workflow. Now, all the bad ERP integration is this capacity, whatever the workflow is, and it will help folks to work by talking to worker now. I say it's unstructured because the way in which the worker is talking to the agent, they don't know about the workflow. That's why they're asking the question. So as they're going through the process, the agent is ticking off the boxes of the workflow of the other part of the modality. Does that make sense? So this is a really powerful example of, I want to ask a question, I want to get an answer, I want to take an action. And you're reducing that already as close to zero as we can, so I do associate in this case, and start taking the first action right to that in the age of walking you through the workflow data. And by the way, any language, so if we stick Spanish, English, Russian, German, shouldn't matter. That actual language is always translated back into the language of the workflow that we have. That was one of the output modalities. What has got that was the most powerful one, I believe, in 2045 that we'll bring apart. And we'll be showcasing that in an array. But the funnest, because I'm also a guitarist and I'm an artist, is image generation. So I will ask one more question. By the way, the reason I'm asking questions is subliminally, if you got go render it, I'm asking questions. I'm getting the answer from you. I'm deciding how to carry out a conversation, depending on what I get from. So one other question I have is, how many trillions of operations per second does it take to generate an image from scratch? I don't mean go get an image off of a folder on the browser where it show it to the user. I'm talking about generating a magic image, which I'm sure you guys have all seen happening online during Nelson Ray videos, right? How many trillions of operations per second does it take to create an image about that big on mobile device? Anybody? Want to guess? I heard 4 trillion operations per second. Anybody want to lie or lower?
What?
20 or 20? It takes 40 trillion operations per second to generate an image about that big on a typical mobile device screen. And if I were to ask you again, how, with most mobile devices today, including your iPhone and maybe a Samsung 24 Ultra or one of our top-end Android mobile devices, last year's mobile devices, which are now being sold this year, do not reach 40 times. Hostas collect operation per second. So I'm going to type up this modality, and then I'm going to tell you how Honeywell's solving it now. We're not waiting for the mobile device to catch up. This industry is moving so fast. We know for a fact in 26 and 27, the new mobile devices, whether they have screens or whether they're just smart devices connected, part of that 75 billion to a headset, they will eventually have more of the 40 tops. We're already looking at it going up to 100, 120 tops in the next 3 years as the Moore's Law takes over the chips on device. It's kind of like the NVIDIA race, and the server is now happening on that GPUs. But today, most mobile devices in the field have up to 4 knots, in some cases 10 to 20 knots of best. So my new favorite modality is, I don't have a guided workflow for the example of a question that I'd be asking the store. One question might be, let's just say I'm at an hardware store, and I'm looking at fan blades, and I take a picture in the modalities of picture. I don't have to just use voice. I can take a picture of this fan blade and actually say without voice, what paint goes well with this? Now, the agent could go back to the day or hospital, find the right paints that are good for that fan blade, and it would show on screen. But how long does it take a human to read through that screen, especially if you're an employee in front of a customer and you're trying to get things done quickly? Instead of that, why can't we ask the question and get a dynamic image generated in real time and then just speak 1,000 words? So instead of sitting there having to scroll through the answers, plural, I can say, what are the paints that go well with this? So bam, it generates it, and it's just like a swatch. of different colors. And I like the green one. What products in store have that? And then bam, pictures of the products in stores. No text, just pictures. This is what multimodal agent means. I'm taking a picture, maybe scanning a barcode of the fan, asking the question, and I'm getting dynamically generated images back as answers. Where the store is that paint? Boom, a map of the store, star on URB or visual pack to get there. Not pull off bar graph somewhere, but generated dynamic. So this is the other thing that we're building with our agents. And when we're building this, we're building it in such a way that I mentioned the 40 tops on purpose. There is no mobile device in the planet that will do a very good job of that. The closest might be Samsung 34 Ultra today. Pixel 9 Pro doesn't even hit the numbers perfectly yet. So what we're doing is we're realizing, especially at the hardware's like a lot of you in this room, we had a huge opportunity to play the games on Cabby, a hybrid framework where we have cloud, which we've always had, cloud AI, edge server AI, and mobile device AI. So this NEG framework of our building will be smart enough that when you ask the question on the device, the auto required to get the answer is too powerful for this version of the device. It will use an edge server on that local network because we're in an industry setting. So we actually have control of the network of the customer. That requires the direction out, cars park it. That's a different type of solution. Why would customer want to go through having edge servers in their network, like a hardware store or retail store, and maybe a dead warehouse? The answer is because I can move HET all the way down to zero for all of their employees for everything they do. So talk about workforce automation, machine automation, but human automation. So those are the things that I want to introduce you to. We are building this multimodal agent right now. We're already sort of a third iteration of it. It is probably the most exciting AI work we're doing. Like I mentioned, we're doing a lot of other AI work, but this is really going to change the game. And I did start with the voice-guided workflow, having natural interaction with voice-guided workflow. The only part that it did fling out is with the Babelfish-like capability. Babelfish meaning no matter what language you speak, we don't create a workflow in that language. That natural language can be translated backwards and forwards for English, Spanish, German, or anything else like that.